Basketball Media Day presented by New Era. Now joined by the contingent from the University of Colorado. Head coach J.R. Payne, now in her 10th season in Boulder, 15th overall. This team 21-13 a year ago, 9-9 in Big 12 play, 8-1 in conference home games. She is joined by two student athletes, senior forward Jade Masagayo and redshirt sophomore Kennedy Sanders. Welcome to all of you. Coach, I'm going to start with you. In the never-ending movement in the world that is college athletics, it was back to the Big 12 for Colorado a season ago. Can you talk about that first year in this league, why it's so difficult for top to bottom, and what that 8-1 at home means to be able to establish yourself with your team and your program?
Yeah, I mean, we were very, well, when the Pac-12 sort of dissolved and everyone, all the moving things happened, we were really sad about that, but we quickly became very excited about the Big 12. For the University of Colorado, it made a lot of sense to go to the Big 12 conference. We had been there before. Geographically, it made a lot of sense. So for us, it was a great move. We were thrilled to be part of the Big 12. Our first year in the Big 12, we experienced, some of the challenges of the travel and being on the road. Incredible environments in the Big 12 conference for women's basketball, top to bottom, everywhere we played. Great crowds, just rabid fans. It was awesome. And Colorado in Boulder is no different. So the 8-1 record at home, it wasn't just because we had a really good team. It's also because Boulder is a very difficult place to play, and I think everyone's more comfortable at home. But also, I just think, we have 5,000, we always say 5,400 feet of fresh mountain air in Boulder that definitely helps us play at home.
Absolutely. As it is for so many teams across the country, your roster looks very different than it did a season ago. One returning starter, 10 newcomers, if I'm not mistaken. Can you just talk about what you've done to mesh this team and what it has been like in the gym so far, especially in the fall, as you really prepare for the upcoming season?
Yeah, I mean, I give a lot of credit to these two did a tremendous job helping us recruit this past spring. So we had signed a really good freshman class, and then this past spring we signed 5 transfers, and it was very much a collective effort from the staff, and then also, our returners did a great job. And so yeah, it's been unique adding that many players, and we were very intentional this past spring about recruiting the right types of people that would fit our culture, that would contribute to a culture of being tough and disciplined and wanting to be a part of a great locker room and an environment. And so that part, surprisingly, with 10 new players, has been actually pretty seamless.
As you think about what it's going to take, knowing how tough the Big 12 is and what you prepare, how did you approach your non-conference scheduling with new faces, blending with returners and players that have experienced those, but you've had some where it is completely new for them?
Yeah, I think we have a great balance on our preseason schedule. We have a couple of tough Power Fours. We have more home games than we've had, which is really wonderful. We went on the road a lot last preseason, and that was a challenge. We now have some of them coming back, but a lot of postseason teams, a lot of teams that return the bulk of their team. But again, in Boulder, we feel comfortable and confident there that we can have a great preseason.
I'm going to ask a couple questions of our student athletes. If anyone out here has one, please raise your hand and we will bring you a microphone. Jade, I'm going to start with you. Many would say last season, a breakout season for you at Colorado, elevating your game, especially in conference play. What have you focused on in the off season to prepare you for this upcoming year?
Yeah, I feel like my coaches have really instilled a lot of confidence in me, but something that I feel like I should be working on is being more of a leader, I would say, having more of a vocal presence, I feel like I lead more by example than, by my voice. And so I'm just trying to get out of my comfort zone and do a little bit more of that.
Well, and you beat me to it because that was my other questions. If you thought about your leadership style, are you maybe not as vocal, lead by example, or now are you a combination of both?
I'm working on it.
Okay, all right, so we're getting there. Yes, we're making our way that direction. Okay, and Coach likes that. She smiled, got really big at that point. Okay, Kennedy Sanders, you played in 29 games last year as a redshirt freshman, averaged just shy of 10 points a game in this building in the Big 12 tournament. One of the things I've taken from watching and listening is from Coach is that she preaches defend, compete, earn everything. How does that manifest itself in practice for you guys as players? What is that competition and spirit like?
Yeah, we actually talked about this in practice yesterday, just like the appreciation that we get to compete with each other every single day, and really just taking that into account with our toughness. You know, we have those goals for us to be as a team. Obviously, like we need to compete in order to compete in games, so just making sure that's instilled in our new players, because obviously that's how we've been playing.
No doubt. And I would ask you kind of the same thing because Coach obviously has singled the two of you out as being those that have stepped forward and having experience. How would you classify your leadership style? Is it vocal, by example, or a combination of both?
I would definitely say a combination of both. This year, it's definitely grown in the vocal aspect just because obviously I've been here for 3 years. So just making sure that I'm vocal to those new players and all of our incoming freshmen. Obviously, it's hard to come in as a freshman, especially in a new state and new country for some of them.
Yeah, absolutely. And Coach, I would ask, as you think about this new roster and about how you put the pieces together, has it changed how you want to play this season? And then having that year under your belt within the Big 12 and saying, all right, this is where we maybe need to be better, or this is where we can excel more. What's that balance like of what people will see from the Buffs on the floor this season?
Yeah, this team reminds me a little bit more of the teams we had before last season, in that we were very defensive minded. We were very aggressive on both sides of the floor. Last year's team was not quite as aggressive as we had been the previous few years. And so I'm really excited to have a group that has that mindset. This is the first time in 25 years of coaching we've had 3 all-conference defensive players on our roster. And so we're going to really lean into that. I keep saying I'm putting the pressure on our associate head coach because he leads our defense. But no, I think we have the potential to be a very, very exciting team to watch. We'd like to play fast. We're going to be really aggressive and turn people over as best we can.
And we have a question right here in the front.
Hey, Joan Bombasini from Arizona. Hey, JR, how are you?
Great, Joan. Good to see you.
Good seeing you. What are your benchmarks that you would consider for a successful season this year?
Yeah, honestly, we don't. I think all of us want to win the Big 12 conference. We want to win the conference tournament. We want to make a deep run in March. And a lot of those things go, for us, they go without saying. What we really strive for, and this is a little bit cliche, but this is how we live it, is that we're trying to be excellent today. And that's it. Like, that's the end of the sentence. If it's the middle of July and we're in the weight room, we want to be as great as we can be that day in the weight room, period. And it could be late in February and the conference championship is on the line. We expect to be just as great on that day as we were in the middle of July. So I think we build that expectation into everything that we do, whether that's in the community, in the classroom, on the track, wherever it might be. And I think that's what has allowed us to sustain success over the years.
We've got another question right back there. You can tell us who you are.
Pat Rooney, Boulder Daily Camera. JR, you mentioned you think this team has the potential to be a strong defensive team. At the other end of the floor, Jade was your leading scorer last year, but I think you lost the next 7 or so scorers. Quite simply, who's going to provide the scoring punch this year?
Yeah, I think we're going to have tremendous balance. This group, we had a scrimmage the other day, and Kennedy led us in scoring by a long shot. There's other days when Desiree Wooten leads us in scoring, or Jade leads us in scoring, or our freshman Logan Greer leads us in scoring. So there's a lot of different weapons on this floor. The best thing about this team offensively is that they're unbelievably unselfish. They genuinely don't care who scores. They want to have great possessions. They believe great possessions will lead to great offense. And so I think we'll have pretty balanced scoring, which I personally would rather have. I would rather have our leading scorer at 13 and then have 12 and 10 and 10 and 9 and 8, 7, rather than just have somebody that has to score 25 a night, for us to be successful.
Well, balance and unselfish play, that's a really good combination. It makes coaches smile. I want to thank all of you for being here. We wish you the very best of luck. We'll see you back in this building in March. Would like to remind everyone, coming up next will be head coach and players from Oklahoma State.